glow of a single sodium lamp, a 20-year-old woman, Angela Hammond, 4 months pregnant, speaks with frantic urgency. "There's a truck, it's filthy, he's coming back." Her words are choked off by a scream. Then, the line goes dead. In the 33 years since that horrifying moment, no one has seen or heard from Angela Hammond again. There's a story small towns tell themselves, that they are safe havens, where neighbors know your name and porch lights ward off the dark. In the early 90s, Clinton, Missouri, with a population just under 9,000, believed that story. It was a community where unlocked doors were a sign of trust and the biggest news was the outcome of the Friday night football game. But that comforting illusion was shattered on the night of April 4, 1991. A single, desperate phone call tore a hole in their reality, exposing a darkness the community never imagined could reach them. This is the story of the last known minutes of Angela Marie Hammond. We will examine the frantic search that consumed a town, and explore the chilling theories that continue to haunt investigators, decades later. This is a case that became an open wound, a story that stays with you long after it ends. Angela Marie Hammond, born February 9, 1971, was the heart of Clinton's idyllic picture. She grew up spending summers in shallow creeks and autumn evenings at high school football games. Friends remember her as the child who collected stray animals with a rare devotion. Her mother, Marcia, often joked their home had become a chaotic petting zoo, a testament to Angela's boundless capacity for kindness. During her senior year, Angela fell in love with Rob Schaefer, a local baseball star. Theirs was a sweet, earnest romance that flourished in the small-town soil. They became inseparable, planning to marry after Angela finished her courses at Central Missouri State. She wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, he dreamed of coaching baseball. Their future was a simple, shared vision of a home and family. The night she vanished, April 4, 1991, began as an ordinary Thursday. Angela worked her shift at a local factory, saving money for that future. Afterwards, she and Rob ate burgers together. She was wearing her favorite outfit, a white button-down shirt with black dots, black slacks, and white sneakers. Angela was petite, just 5 feet tall, with light brown hair and a small scar on her upper lip from a childhood accident. Despite her independence, she remained close with her mother, still relying on her for small things like fastening a necklace. A new life had recently entered Angela's world. She was 4 months pregnant. Though the pregnancy often left her tired, she glowed with anticipation for the future she and Rob so eagerly awaited. Around 10:30 that night, she dropped Rob off at his house with a familiar promise, "I'll call you from the food barn payphone." It was their nightly ritual. By the time Angela pulled into the nearly deserted food barn parking lot, the town had fallen quiet. She parked her 1980s red Mustang directly under the lot's single buzzing sodium lamp, a lone spotlight in the encroaching dark. She locked her purse on the passenger seat, a habit of prudence, not fear, in a town where crime was an abstract concept. She then stepped into the glass payphone booth, unaware she would never return to her car. That booth would become the last place she was ever seen alive. Just after 11:15 p.m., Rob Schaefer's phone rang. It was Angela, her voice soft and tired. Yawning between sentences, she told him she was too exhausted to come over and would be heading straight home. It was the kind of mundane, comforting conversation they'd had 100 times before. Then, Angela's tone sheared into panic. "Wait, this pickup just pulled in," she said, a tremor of pure fear in her voice. She described the vehicle with chilling clarity, a filthy, late 1960s or early 1970s green Ford F-150 with a distinctive decal on the rear window and damage to the left front fender. As Rob's own dread mounted, he asked if she was alone. "Just me," she confirmed. "He's parking, oh God, he's got a flashlight." A creak echoed down the line, the sound of the payphone booth door being forced open. Angela cried out, "Rob," her voice was cut short by a guttural scream. Rob heard the receiver clatter, the sound of it being dropped, and then, nothing. The line was dead. Panic seized him. Rob threw himself into his Bronco and tore out of his driveway, tires screaming. He was flying toward her, his heart hammering against his ribs. Just 2 miles out, his headlights flooded a green Ford F-150, a perfect match to Angela's description, as it fishtailed onto Highway 13. He floored it. As he closed to within 50 yards, he rolled down his window and heard it, Angela, screaming his name from inside the truck's cab. Without warning, the truck swerved onto a narrow gravel farm road. Rob followed, pushing his Bronco to its limit. Suddenly, the transmission failed. The engine whined uselessly as the truck slipped into neutral. Powerless, Rob watched the F-150's taillights shrink into the darkness, carrying Angela away from him forever. Police arrived 12 minutes later. Angela's red Mustang sat exactly where she had left it, the keys still in the lock. Inside the booth, The payphone receiver dangled from its cord, its plastic casing cracked. Search dogs tracked Angela sent 20 feet into the parking lot, where the trail simply vanished. That night, the Clinton Police Department logged its first-ever missing persons report for a pregnant woman. The town was left with only the ghost of a scream and the image of vanishing taillights. The hours after Angela's abduction plunged Clinton into a state of frenzied dread. In the pre-dawn gloom, officers fanned out, their knocks on the doors of farmhouses and trailer parks turning sleepy confusion into shared horror. They swept through the town's motels, the bus depot, and the last bar still open, desperate for any sign of her. Volunteers on three-wheelers combed the fairgrounds, while others dragged the 4-H fishing pond with weighted nets. A Missouri State Highway Patrol helicopter scanned the cold landscape with infrared, but the search yielded nothing. Day 2 brought only deepening frustration. Detectives began the Herculean task of canvassing every one of the more than 400 registered green pickup trucks in Henry County. 3 trucks that seemed to match the description were impounded and meticulously examined, but all were eventually cleared. The search was exhaustive, yet the suspect remained a ghost. Rob Schaefer, Angela's fiancé, found himself trapped in a new nightmare: suspicion. He gave 3 separate, unwavering statements to police. Following procedure, detectives administered a polygraph test, which he passed. Still, in a town gripped by fear, whispers began to circulate. Angela's mother, Marcia, never doubted him for a second. "That boy loved my daughter more than breathing," she told reporters, her voice resolute. But the town's rumor mill, fueled by raw terror, churned on. As weeks turned into months with no suspect and no body, the only real evidence remained Rob's horrific account and the specter of a green truck that had seemingly dissolved into the Ozark Hills. As Clinton grappled with its new reality, a disturbing pattern began to emerge across the region. Angela's case did not exist in a vacuum. Just 120 miles south, in Max Creek, another crime haunted detectives. On January 19, 1991, convenience store clerk Trudy Darby vanished after reporting a prowler. Her body was discovered 2 days later by a riverbank. She had been shot and then driven over. 70 miles away, in Nevada, Missouri, Cheryl and Kenny disappeared on February 27 while closing a Gas and Go. No body was ever found, only an unlocked back door and a kicked-over mop bucket. The parallels were terrifying. All 3 towns sat along a 90-mile stretch of U.S. Route 54, a ribbon of asphalt that had become a predator's hunting ground. All 3 women were taken from isolated locations after dark. All 3 cases remain unsolved. In 1993, the chilling similarities prompted the FBI to form a joint task force, Operation Ozark Shadows. They profiled the perpetrator as a mobile killer, likely a long-haul trucker or cattle buyer who knew the rural backroads intimately, a phantom who could drift between communities without a trace. 40 agents scoured farm sales, truck stops, and feed lots, hunting for a man who fit the profile. Tips flooded in: a bearded man buying trailers with cash, a similar green pickup at a cattle auction, a drifter in a bar boasting about easy pickings in small towns. But every lead dissolved into a dead end. The predator remained a ghost. Today, veteran detective Damon Parsons keeps a map taped above his desk, marked with 3 colored pins: red for Trudy, blue for Cheryl, and yellow for Angela. He often looks at the grim triangle they form and tells new interns, predators hunt where the deer scatter. This guy knew the terrain. It's a stark acknowledgement of a killer's calculated method, whether it was a single serial predator or copycats operating in the shadows of the heartland. In the 33-year void left by Angela Hammond's disappearance, several theories have taken root. Theory 1, wrong place, wrong time. This theory suggests Angela was the victim of a random, opportunistic predator who killed her and disposed of her body in the vast, murky waters of Truman Lake. Yet, for 6 weeks, divers meticulously scoured 92 miles of the lake's shoreline and found no trace of Angela or a vehicle. Theory 2, mistaken identity. In 2021, a documentary unearthed a ransom note mailed to the Clinton police in 1992. Postmarked from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the note demanded $50,000 for the snitch's kid. It contained details that had never been publicly released: Angela's exact clothing, the fish decal on the truck, and even Rob's private nickname. The note raised a terrifying possibility: Angela was targeted because her cousin had testified in a drug case. But no money drop was ever arranged, and the sender was never identified, leaving this haunting lead suspended in time. Theory 3, the serial trucker. The FBI's profile of a mobile predator aligns perfectly with Angela's abduction, suggesting her case could be an early crime by a killer who hunted along the interstate system. This theory connects her to at least 10 other unsolved homicides along I-44 and I-70. While some argue a pregnant woman would be an atypical victim, the possibility remains chillingly plausible. Theory 4, a local secret, ***. The area around Clinton is riddled with old lead mines and limestone caves, places to bury secrets. Some speculate Angela overheard something she shouldn't have, or witnessed an illicit act, and was silenced to protect a dark local truth. Police excavated 2 caves in 1992 and 1998 based on tips, but they unearthed only deer bones and rusted car parts. Finally, Theory 5, she survived. This is the theory fueled by a mother's bottomless hope. Occasionally, a woman on social media will claim to be an amnesiac Angela, but DNA has cruelly disproven these claims every time. Still, Angela's mother, Marcia, keeps a packed suitcase in her hall closet, ready for the moment Angie comes walking up the drive. She replaces the clothes every 2 years, a heartbreaking ritual of love that defies the passage of time. Which theory seems most plausible? Was Angela the victim of a random monster, a calculated hit as part of a larger conspiracy, or did she stumble upon a secret buried deep within the community itself? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. The family continues to read them, holding on to hope that a single overlooked detail might finally bring the breakthrough they have waited for. As years bled into decades, the investigation continued, chasing Angela's ghost with evolving technology. In 1999, the Missouri Highway Patrol distributed cold case playing cards in state prisons, featuring Angela's case. The hope was that an inmate might hold a piece of the puzzle. The initiative yielded tips about 2 potential dig sites, but both searches proved fruitless. In 2004, technicians retested the payphone receiver for DNA. They found Angela's clear fingerprints alongside smudged, degraded DNA from multiple unidentified people, rendering the samples unusable. It was a tantalizing clue that led absolutely nowhere. 4 years later, in 2008, cadaver dogs alerted handlers to a submerged car in Truman Lake. Divers recovered a 1984 Buick filled with concrete blocks, a grim discovery that ultimately revealed no human remains. It was another dead end. In 2016, Angela's younger brother launched a Facebook page dedicated to her case, which swelled to 40,000 members worldwide. Tips poured in from across the globe, each one meticulously logged and investigated, but none cracked the case. Just last year, crime scene reconstructionists used LiDAR technology to create a precise 3D model of downtown Clinton as it was in 1991. The mapping confirmed Rob's harrowing account of the chase with scientific accuracy, silencing any lingering doubts. But the same technology revealed a chilling detail, a blind spot behind the food barn where a vehicle could have waited, completely unseen. Revisiting the site, detectives found a local who now recalled hearing tires spinning on gravel near midnight on that fateful night, a detail he had dismissed for 30 years, a sound that might have changed everything. Today, Angela Hammond's case remains an active investigation with the Clinton Police Department and the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Her age-progressed photo, showing her at 52, is still featured on the website of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the face of a woman who has only existed in whispers and photographs. The green Ford F-150 has never been found, but a national alert remains active in the NCIC database. If a VIN matching the truck's description is ever entered at any salvage yard in the country, it will trigger an immediate law enforcement response. A reward of $42,500, raised through chili suppers, church auctions, and a yearly softball tournament in Angela's name, is offered for information. Tips can be submitted anonymously via the P3 app or by calling 660-885-2679. Detective Damon Parsons, who has worked the case for years, is set to retire next spring. A faded 4th-grade school photo of Angela sits above his computer monitor, a silent, daily reminder of the vow he made to her family. "I just want to bring her home before I turn in my badge," he told a reporter. After that, the next generation takes the torch. The family continues their vigil. Every April 4th, they gather outside the old food barn, now a laundromat, and release balloons. Every December, they hang an ornament on their Christmas tree that reads, "Angie, the best gift is you walking through the door." And every night, Marcia taps the hall closet where the suitcase sits. "Suitcase is still ready, baby girl," she whispers into the darkness. A mother's promise to a daughter lost in the night. For 33 years, the disappearance of Angela Hammond has remained a gaping wound in the heart of Clinton, Missouri. A single scream on a quiet spring night shattered a town's sense of safety, and the echo of that scream is, tragically, all that remains. But echoes can stir memories, and memories can solve murders. If you knew someone in early 1991 who drove a green Ford F-150 with a fish decal, or if you ever heard a story that didn't sit right, please make the call. The most crucial answers often hide in plain sight, waiting for one brave voice to drag them into the light. Share this story. Keep Angela's name and face in circulation. In an age where information moves at the speed of light, it is easy to forget. But the families of the missing never can. To Angela's family, thank you for your incredible strength and for trusting us to keep her memory alive. And to Angela, wherever you are, know that your suitcase is still packed, and there are people all over the world who still search, still hope, and still care. Let this case serve as a powerful reminder: never take a moment for granted, never assume any place is immune to the darkness, and never, ever stop asking questions until every missing person is brought home.